Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Friday, April 13th at 10:24 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. You're looking at the GFS total snowfall data coming out just 4 hours ago. It's showing that this blizzard, Xanto, is going to cover the entire northern tier states over the next 3 days into Tuesday, with the heaviest snows in the northern Adirondacks, over 36 inches predicted. Heads up, northern New York. Now, the brunt of the snow has already fallen in South Dakota and Nebraska and is now moving to the east. Now, the models show a second event hitting the same area in the next weekend, bringing the total accumulated snowfall to 4 feet in this growing region. Additional snows in northern Michigan and northern New York. The same track is overlying Xanto's track. In fact, there's 3 events. 1, 2, 3. All in the same growing regions. And that's a heads up. Cooling is the new warming. That must be science. We're going to talk about that guy. Bobblehead. Blizzards, tornadoes, and fires. Oh my. Winter storm to deliver all sorts of extreme weather across the nation this weekend. You're living it. Winter storm Xanto closes interstate schools, government offices across the plains. This is what it looks like in April. Yep. This. April showers bring May flowers unless it's a blizzard. That brings crop losses, teardrops, and thin ties and pink shirts. I love this guy. He's had that faux hawk for quite some time, Ari has. We love him. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. It's going to be stormy. Winter storm Xanto shut down schools and government offices Friday in South Dakota as officials and meteorologists issued sternly worded warnings to anyone who tries to travel in blizzard conditions expected during the worst of the snowstorm. Blizzard conditions are expected till tomorrow night in these regions. The South Dakota Department of Transportation announced a shutdown of Interstate 90 from Rapid City to Mitchell, 300 miles. Interstate 29 was also closed in North Dakota, border near Brookings. Sioux Falls Airport was closed until Saturday night, according to the Associated Press. Governor Dennis Dugard closed state offices in 32 South Dakota counties on Friday. Many schools are canceled. Xanto is right out of the spring snowstorm textbooks if you were alive in the 1960s. And that's a heads up. Not the only roads closed. I-90 now closed in Pine Bluffs to Big Springs. Highway 30 closed, Pine Bluffs to Big Springs. US 385 closed, Sydney to Alliance. Highway 71 closed, Colorado State Line to Goering. L62A closed, North Bayard to US 385. Highway 88 closed, Wyoming Line to Bridgeport. I think it's already here. I hope you're prepared, guys. There's going to be massive amounts of power outages with the storm as we progress. This is a 36, 48-hour event. And here are the GFS snowfall totals pushing us out to Monday morning. Heaviest snow showing up here in east central Michigan, where you could see upwards of 22 inches in some regions, 25 to 26 showing up here in the GEM snowfall totals. And we're looking at of just around 2 feet of snow in a 100 square mile area here in South Dakota. Whew. No one's going to work. Thank God it's the weekend. Let's look at how Xanto is affecting the entire northern craton here up in the Canadian Shield. You can see areas of 100 plus centimeters from the snow throughout the central Great Lakes region. And take a look at the eastern shore of Greenland. We're talking snowfall totals 5 to 10 feet over the next 48 hours. And it's not done for you, BC. You're looking for an additional 5 feet of snow in British Columbia, 2 to 3 feet of snow in eastern BC here. Alberta's going to get some snow, and Ontario is about to be buried. Whew. Conservatively, 5 to 10 inches with local 12 plus in South Dakota, Minneapolis, central Minneapolis. Here's the Twin Cities. Ground zero is going to be west and south of you. Thank you, NPR weather. Xanto dramatic spring storm begins to unfold as the blizzard sweeps across Nebraska. A powerful spring blizzard swept in Nebraska on Friday, first smacking the panhandle while Lincoln experienced a steamy afternoon, and its neighborhoods to the southeast watch for possible tornadoes. It's insane. Steamy to blizzard in Nebraska. Hail pounds parts of southwestern Wisconsin. Heads up, Wisconsin. It's just not snow, hail, lightning, and tornadoes. We're going to have flooding. The full gamut. Major snow totals still on track as the brunt of the storm moves in. Up to 18 inches of snow and whiteout conditions are possible. Here's the latest timing for snowfall from the National Weather Service. You're going to get links to this. This is the Twin Cities timing. Come click on it. You're looking at 9 to 14 inches here in Eau Claire, Marshfield, Mankato. I hope I said that right. Redwood Falls. You're in the 9 to 14 zone. Guys in this region, why don't you tell us in the comments in the morning how much snow? Go out and measure it and give us some totals because these are going to be underestimated. So get the real data for us. Rain and sleet will change overnight to snow and continue into Saturday. Although a mid-morning break in the snow is possible before another round of accumulating heavy snow will begin. So get some early totals and some final totals. Totals up to 18 inches are possible. We're going to say 24 plus in some areas of southwestern Minnesota, especially South Dakota. So we'll be watching for those totals. This is the Weather Channel's forecast, and they're putting the heaviest 18 plus inches here south of Marshall. And this is just up until Sunday morning. So these totals are not the totals you're going to be getting. This is just the snowfall total as of Sunday morning. This storm is going to continue to move east and wreak havoc in the northeast. Back to the GFS total snowfalls. I'll let you look at this once again. You're looking at up to 4 feet of snow in east South Dakota by Monday, April 23rd. Heads up. Let's talk about some records broken. We've been covering Billings. It tied the all-time snowfall record today. It's breaking it right now. It's going to smash it by next weekend. So a small amount of snow accumulated Friday morning helped Billings tie the all-time snowfall record ever recorded by the National Weather Service. Larry Dooley observed, the program leader of the National Weather Service, said at 8:40 a.m. that the monitoring station showed 0.4 inches of snow accumulated Thursday, bringing the season's snowfall total to match the previous record of 103.5. It's being eclipsed right now. It's very difficult to find headlines on what's happening with this storm because we're in a global warming world, folks. Flood washes out Conrad area roads. Chateau breaks the snowfall record. That's Black Eagle Dam. Farmers and ranchers along the northern Rocky Mountain front woke Friday to flooded fields and washed out roads. After a fast-moving spring snowstorm dropped another 10 inches in what is shaping to be a record-setting snow year. We have 17 roads that have portions closed because they have either washed out or started to slough, said Leanne Hermans, Disaster and Emergency Services Coordinator at Ponderosa County. This is Minnesota, Great Falls area. They're getting washed out and snowed out. Severe storms likely Saturday throughout New Orleans. Officials warn of flooding, winds, tornadoes, and hail Saturday. Heads up, New Orleans. Make sure you have cover. Let's go over the Weather Ready Nation map. Say that 5 times fast. We have blizzard warnings everywhere. In the center of the blizzard warnings, we have special weather statements to say stay inside. Heavy snowfall is happening right now here in central Nebraska, western South Dakota. It's not looking good. This is an epic storm. We have flooding and severe weather throughout the Mississippi Valley. This is going to be moving east. High wind warnings still in the south, but most of them are negated at this point, thankfully. But we have severe freeze warnings here on the state line, which is where all of the budding fruit is now flowering. We're talking apricots and peaches are all going to be decimated. This is not a very good scenario here for our region. This is the Banana Belt region where there are freeze warnings, and there are going to be freeze warnings again next week. There are freeze warnings here in southeast Arizona. If you're in that region, that is a full kill. Those people are going to be complaining in the morning. And the blizzard and the winter storm warnings are all the way out through the Michigan Peninsula, all the way into upstate New York, and all the way through Vermont. And it's not even going to start snowing there for 24 to 36 hours. A powerful spring storm brings numerous impacts across the U.S. through the weekend. They're not covering it the way they should be because they're scared or they're told not to. This storm is going to bring heavy snow and blizzard conditions currently right now in 6 states, along with strong winds, power outages, and tough times ahead. I hope that you are all had been listening for the last 7 months, and in these regions you are prepared to stay in place for the next 48 hours. Significant icing from the plains eastward could lead to power outages lasting for weeks in the upper Great Lakes region. The storm will also bring strong winds to the desert southwest and high plains. Do not flick your cigarette butts out of the window. Swarms of earthquakes rattle McAdam, New Brunswick. Earthquakes in Canada have recorded 22 in New Brunswick over the past 30 days. The USGS is not covering this. Many of them are in the above 2.5. Quakes shake New Brunswick. Earthquake sounded like the hot water tank exploded. This is coming out today from McAdams, New Brunswick. 2 years after a mysterious swarm of earthquakes rattled homes and nerves in New Brunswick Village, they've started up again, as predicted by the cosmic ray flux, exciting the muons in the subsurface and that silica-rich magma. As it does every 1,000 years in a major grand minima, major volcanic eruptions and earthquakes occur worldwide, causing chaos, unrest, famines, migrations, and the end of the empire, which you're living. I'll leave you links to the end of the empire. Bodfish hit with a 3.7. Heads up, Bakersfield. This is a moderate Cali shake. I'm sure it rocked some heads out in this desert region. There's a 5.4 today in Hokkaido, offshore. But we're talking, Fukushima people. Their heads are exploding right now. Seismic update. We've got movement here in Chile. But I'm most concerned about this 5.0 popping off, which has been downgraded in New Zealand. 283 kilometers east-northeast of Tawara, New Zealand. This is near the mainland of New Zealand. And this is popping off at a depth of 169 kilometers. I'm going to predict a larger quake migrating either up here in the Fiji region or mainland New Zealand in the next 24 hours. So heads up to what is occurring in New Zealand. And Alex Hahn just called me in the middle of the video where I had to redo it. So if you want to call me, don't call me after 10 p.m. Mountain time, folks. That's a boom. I like to talk to all you fans. 5.3 here in Nomoto, Japan. So we have some activity in the Japan region, which I'm sure is raising eyebrows. And there is the 3.7 in Bodfish we just talked about. Let's go over the volcano news update. Worldwide, we have Reventador and Bagana to the list today. Aoba's ongoing eruption, volcanic ash, continuous eruption of Bagana here. We can see a streak coming off. And so that's a new volcano to add to the list that is increased activity. We also have Sakurajima today exploding about 36 hours ago. Go over to, here, it exploded at this. Here's the link right here, Kyushu Prefecture. Go over to Volcano YT to check out the footage. They have it up. People are not watching. Merriam-Webster calls out Neil Tyson deGrasse, the bobblehead of science, and that's a boom. For being a grumpy old man. Now, this guy says that the word awesome is totally overused, which I think is totally awesome. You can see him aging here. You can see the crow's feet here on the side of his eyes, the turkey giblet here, developing beneath his extremely pronounced, what appears to be a cartoonish chin. Yes, that is the myth, the man, the legend, Neil Tyson, not a scientist, DeGrasse, who sold out to the multinational corporations years ago and stopped actually reading papers, apparently. He doesn't even know where satellite data comes from. Him, the science guy, and every other one of the shills for the mainstream. I hope you're not listening to what they're saying, because they don't even know what they're saying. They're just reading off of the script. Now, on Thursday, the astrophysicists decided to tweet a complaint about the word awesome, which is totally awesome, because we don't think Neil is awesome. We think he's a bobblehead, which is totally awesome. Anyway, Merriam-Webster's Masters of Language and Throwing Shade was promptly alerted of the tweet and responded the only way it fit. In my day, the word awesome was reserved for things like curing polio and walking on the moon, not for food or TV shows, Tyson tweeted. And ugh, dude, could you be slightly less of a grumpy old man nerd, please? So heads up to the grumpy old man nerd and non-scientist. And that's why we use them, for effect, because that's a boom. Let's move on to more nonsense. The Planet X Apocalypse conspiracy theory is back, and you'll get links. This is coming from Popular Mechanics today. You know it's legitimate if it's Popular Mechanics. By Andrew Mosman. Heads up! End of the World 2018 will be the rapture, occurring on April 23rd. Shock prediction says yes. If you have a beard like this and you start talking, people will listen. You look just like God. Look at him. I mean, it could be Jesus. He could be the second coming or whatever coming it is. Just kill us already, Planet X. I'm sick of Nibiru. I'm sick of this eclipse as being some signal. Eclipses happen all the time. There's going to be another one in a few years. They happen regularly. This eclipse means nothing. If you think this means the end of the world, it's going to turn out just like the other predictions. Nothing's going to happen. There is no Nibiru either, so no, the rapture isn't coming on April 23rd because of Nibiru, which doesn't exist. There are thousands of scientists looking for another planet, a dark planet, a brown dwarf, anything that's coming into our range, and it's not there. So, folks, don't get your panties in a bunch. Zacharias Sitchin was a fraud. Let's talk about the BioLite Camp Stove 1, wood burning and USB charging camp stoves. This is not a fraud. This really works. You put fire in this hole and light it, and it makes electricity. Can you fucking believe that? The BioLite takes burning twigs and makes electricity. If you have a few dollars to spend, this is getting very high ratings. This is one of the most affordable forms of thermal kinetic conversion available. It's where you take thermal energy and some fan technology to create actual output in DC. You can charge your phone, you can charge a light, you can charge a weather radio, you can charge anything that's USB by plugging it in here and throwing some twigs in here and using a magnifying glass to light it on fire. This is absolutely a self-contained survival unit. There are many available. This is getting the highest rating, the BioLite Camp Stove 1, not 2, 1. So this is the one I'm recommending, and this is the one that I will be acquiring en masse and similar units that are thermal energy generators. You can get a nice package here with the Camp Stove 1, the actual grill that goes on top of it, and a water purifying system here for $250. I recommend the bundle. I have no connection to this company. It's just an amazing technology. And the reason is because it can work with this technology, the world's best survival battery, which is a USB rechargeable AA. It's very expensive. Those of you that have a few dollars to spend for little less than $100, you can get a 12-pack of USB batteries, 2 chargers, and a solar pocket light. Now, what makes these so unique is that they don't require AC chargers or a rechargeable battery charging hub, because those are AC powered. So if you just simply have a USB plug and a solar panel, you can charge your double A's and you can use it for lighting. You can use it for weather radio or other electronics. So this is a very interesting piece of the puzzle to put into your bivy sack, your bug out bag, or your long-term storage. Because this type of thing, one single USB chargeable battery, if someone has a headlamp, could be worth $1,000 in the future. So it's a good investment. World's best survival battery is the most expensive, unfortunately. So do your homework. I didn't get that deep into it. We're still demonetized on last night's video. I haven't checked, but we're going to check right now. Yes, it's been demonetized for all of the views, so we're not going to make a single penny from this. So I spent 6 hours for no reward. And this is care of the little uptick in demonetization on YouTube, and also freedom of speech issues. They're blocking us not because I curse or because I use foul language or say controversial things. I'm reporting on the weather and I'm reporting on my position in the scientific realm. That's it. And we're demonetized because of that, because they're scared of the truth. So this might continue to happen, and we'll see how it develops. But you can contact YouTube to tell them what idiots they are and what they're doing. They're absolutely stomping on your and my constitutional rights on a daily basis throughout this platform, and it must end. Guys, I hope you got something out of the video. Times are changing. The GSM-2 data is in front of you. The modern data is in maroon. You can see the Dalton minimum right here. You can see the modern warm spike here back in the early 2000s. And you can see us falling off a cliff currently. You can see the weather pattern shifting. You can see an April blizzard moving across the North American continent. And you can see the mainstream media not reporting on it, obfuscating from the truth and saying like, oh, this is the normal winter pattern that we see usually during middle of April. The time is now to start preparing. If you want to survive and thrive in the future, find community. Find like-minded individuals. Move away from major cities. Start preparing now. It only costs a few dollars a week to start buying dry goods. Some of the items I just showed you only cost a few $100s. These are items that could keep you alive for years. Be safe, everybody.